Welcome to another weekend here on the platform. My name is Sam Omatseye. My column will be read to you now.
We remember Chioma Ajunwa over 2 decades ago as the Nigerian Golden Girl of the Olympics. Her heroics might have faded away until the BOS of Lagos, on the eve of his 56th birthday, dusted up the gold medal with a new honor. She was given a 3-bedroom flat at the Babatunde Raji Fashola housing estate. The point is that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has turned his birthday period to honor another, that is, selfless birthday, making one's honor an opportunity to honor another, especially one who has been forgotten. It is also a testament to an inclusive Lagos. Kudos to the BOS.
In your theater, your own world of theater, what I've noticed from the first of your offerings that I watched when I was in school and up to now is that you have placed a lot of premium on the theater of theater. In other words, what I mean is that you have placed a lot of premium on performance, but whether it's a dance, whether it's song, optics. Let me use the word optics. I've played a very important part of it. Is it a reflection of populism? Why do you do that?
Well, yeah, you see, we have to go back to our traditional roots. Traditional roots, because it was an oral tradition. And so, performance was very much a way of expressing ourselves. And performance, when you're talking about performance, you're talking about music, dance,
yes,
song, things like that, Unfortunately, what we inherited from the white people when they came was that it was just dialogue. That theater was just dialogue. And not only dialogue, but written dialogue. And because they didn't find that here, they said we didn't have any theater. We didn't have culture, in fact. But when people got more and more enlightened, they found that no, it's not that we didn't have culture, it was just different from the one of Europe.
Yes.
And so, in trying to create our own theater here, one has to go back to those traditions. I call it total theater. The theater that uses music, dance, incantation, trance, all those things together. When Soyinka and Ogunde, started all this. It's better now, but when we started, very few people spoke English. They didn't really understand English very much. Nowadays, we have and so to communicate with them, we had to use non-verbal means too, bring in music and dance and so on, spectacle, costuming and all that. So this is why, when I was writing, trying to create what we call an African theater, it's a modern African theater. We had to, have recourse to all the features of our own traditional theaters, fables, folklore, all that. So that's why, and you find that that's very entertaining theater too. So it's not just writing; you want to communicate with the audience. So you have these things that they are already used to in our traditional culture.
One of your plays that really dramatizes it for me is the one on the women, which actually is derived from Euripides, Trojan women. If you watch those plays and if you've seen those plays performed, you will see that one of the things you have done is to actually reify the Yoruba culture, looking at the war, the 19th century war, the Yoruba war, 19th century war. And you have made you have made the optics of the Yoruba experience more visible than what Euripides did in his own offering. So what does that tell about the effort to domesticate a Western work?
Well, I mean, you will find that I do a lot of this because usually I'm commissioned. I get a lot of commissions to do this, write the black version, so African version.
Okay.
And so that's important to me. What's the African part of it? So and so when I take these primary works, I try to find the equivalent, in Nigerian life, with women of Owu. It wasn't difficult at all because we also had a very similar one, Trojan War.
Yeah.
So it was quite interesting to do that. And then it's important for us because many of us have forgotten our history. Don't forget that, until quite last year or something, history was abolished in the syllabus.
Yes.
So people, how do you bring up people who don't know their own history? How do you develop a country where people don't know their own history? We have problems. Most of the young ones now, the age which we were then, have grown up only during the military years. They have no other, experience beyond that. The years of looting, of barbarity, of harshness, and so on. And that's all they know. When I write, I'm conscious of that, of trying to, bring history, aspects of our history back. But also, I have a task there because don't forget that history is also the document, provided by the victors, by the ruling class. And I'm trying to find a history. How will it be for the victims, the ones who are not part of the victors, the ones who are not part of the, Bertolt Brecht has a wonderful poem about it. A worker reads history. Because he says, okay, so soldiers fight. Alexander conquered Rome and others, but were there no cooks in his team? Yeah, who were those ones? We always talk of the conquerors, but what about the lower people? Those ones who have to carry on.
Yeah.
So
the book of history.
So that even as I'm trying to recall history, I'm also very critical about it, about the versions we receive. So it's a double thing. I'm trying to bring back that history, but I'm also trying to bring it back from a critical perspective. Let us look at it. We look at Moremi, who was very brave and saved the country. But today, what will be a Moremi? How will it be? How will she be? So this when I wrote Morountodun, some people said, "Oh, the man is trying to destroy Yoruba goddess in the myth."
Yeah.
No, but no, I wasn't trying to destroy that. My own is to reinterpret that. Moremi went, and stole the secrets from the people who are disturbing Ife and were able to use that to drive them back, And this just parallel, almost parallel. We had the Agbekoya here, and it was the woman, the officer they sent there also to Tafa.
Exactly.
But when the inquiry was then made into the reasons why the Agbekoya came, the government inquiry. If you read it, you'll be surprised. The results came back heavily against the government.
Yes.
That they had been cheating the peasants, and so on. So I was thinking that suppose it was a real Moremi today, I went to the camp of the farmers and others and saw all this suffering and treatment. On whose side would she be? So, this is why I overturned that issue. And also, of course, try to bring the role of women to, because many of the accounts we don't even talk about the women at all. It's as if they didn't do anything. And in fact, sometimes women are the more heroic characters in these stories. So we have to look at the history, but we also have to look at the perspectives of the people. See, at least as a teacher, and I'm also concerned about my students. I think that these students, particularly the female students, where are their role models? If they want to, they're reading about negative things all the time, how will they develop? What would they be there? So, all these things come together, in my interpretation of this. So, I take the Commission, the European story, as a starting point, as a stepping stone to tell our own stories, not just what we were in the past, but what we wish to become in the
future. In also working on transcultural themes, you've also done even works within our own Nigerian culture when you did The Other Raft or Another Raft. That was a kind of retelling of J.P. Clark's own play and so on. Why did you have to do that?
It's not that I have to do it, but I wanted to do it. You see, the thing is, I hardly actually do any rewriting unless I'm interested in that first version. That first version, it has to be really powerful and imaginative and So, and when I want to, I think, okay, I want to do this play. Then I begin to think about it, but no, I wouldn't want to do it the way it was done. I want to reinterpret it according to our own times.
Yeah.
When Clark wrote the Raft, there were only 3 regions, in Nigeria. But by the time I was writing Another Raft, we had become 32 or I don't even know how many regions now. We keep multiplying all the day. And the people are no longer as naive as they were in those days. So the point now, so how do we reinterpret our own history so that we can learn from it? It's not just repeating history, repeating this, reinterpreting it for our own times and for the sake of our own development.
Now, you have also done with Okimba Alaunko. You ran a very long column in the days of the Daily Times. You did a very long piece, and then you also did a number of essays, about the Nigerian condition, especially during the time of the military, the Babangida years, and then with the Guardian, where familiar fixture and so on. Compare the essays with Osofisan, the playwright. Which one has more agency of the Osofisan temperament or ideology?
All of them.
So,
all of them.
How would you talk to both of them?
It depends on what, for instance, okay, take the column in the Guardian. What happened? Actually, the Guardian. One of the reasons why I went to the Guardian was to give more space to creative work, to creative writing. So, so All the time I was there, I wanted us to create a space for creative writing. Well, now it was easy, poetry and all that, it doesn't take so much space. But with novel fiction and it was difficult. Stanley kept saying, well, look, the newspaper is not for fiction. It's for news. We are not there for fiction. But, but I wanted to get it. And I never really column. We had a column, and everybody was free to write whatever he wanted to write. So at a point, my column being very critical of the military. I mean, I never really liked them at all. So the editor called me that this column was having problems because was getting news from the security people that they were uneasy with that column. And of course, he didn't want to suppress me at all, but he just wanted to bring my attention to it. Because the military, you have to be careful with them. So, but after a while, I then thought, well, okay, if they won't take these essays, then I can put the same criticism in fiction. So I said, okay, I will turn this into a fiction column. So this was what happened. So and then another name because, well, if you know, the general title was Tales the Country Told Me. I wanted to write about what was going on in the country, what people were suffering, what they were going through. And so I said, Tales the Country Told Me. And of course, I couldn't use my real name anymore because, people would stop telling me tales if they felt I was going to write. So I brought back my pen name of Yungba-Yungba, and then wrote a different story every week. Until something happened, which then had to go into an extensive writing of different columns, 1, 2, 3. Couldn't finish it in one column. So, and then, Stanley normally doesn't like you writing 1, 2, 3 essays. If you can't finish this essay in one simple essay, one column, then you are not writing well. One editorial of just 500 words. You can't waste their time reading. When you start saying 1, 2, 3, they get that. So I called me one day, because the story was about a mother, mommy. I called mommy one. I was trying to. So anyway, the year was coming to an end. So I just ended the story number 6 or something. And that was when he regretted it. Because, normally until this social media thing, we never got feedback from our column. Very rarely do you get writing back. And so we didn't know whether there was any response to these stories or anything. But once we stopped, it was like a storm. People started calling, sending letters. How can you end this story like that? So I just stand, you see now. He said he never read it. He just thought, wow. And so that was an astonishing thing. That so our people were reading. And it's just that they didn't,
Did they have avenues of responding?
So, no. So I then say, so people are reading now. So that encouraged me to do more of such stories.
Now, the question, I have to round this up by asking a question about the controversy generated years ago when you were asked during an Nigerian Writers Conference, in which you said there were only two writers in Nigeria then. You said Oshunari and Wole Soyinka. And people were saying, what of Chinua Achebe? What of Things Fall Apart? And so on. Do you still share that view today?
Well, when you make some polemical statements, but it depends on the occasion. But I can't remember what the occasion was. That must have been one occasion. But I'm not sure I said you are the only writer. Maybe I was sort of poetry, the only poetry. Because I never regarded that as a poet. But I was a master novelist, a master writer, and a much talented person. So, I mean, I think I said that everyone is a writer. But I don't know what to put into it. I mean, I respected that I was in the house many times.
Okay, I want to say again, happy 75th, and wish you many, many, many more years of works of conscience and engagement. And thank you for being on this show.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you,
carry
sir.
on what is writing is getting quite
Thank you, sir.
inspiring.
My poem on Leah Sharibu will now be read to you.
How, Leah, does it feel to wake up in the morning and sleep open-eyed in the comfort of the enemy? In your case, you are innocent. Can you imagine how it feels if some think you should sleep in your bed and others think you deserve bed sores?
Thank you for being on this show. You can read my column at www.samomashaye.com. And until next time, be good.